Today is May 27th, 2010. I am interviewing the artist E.A. Chase. This interview is taking place at his home at 15 Braymore, Bonnie Doon, California. This interview is part of a student research project on the Peace Monument, Collateral Damage, in downtown Santa Cruz, California. It is part of the UC Santa Cruz history course, World War II Memories in the U.S.
When were you born?
1932 in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn? Okay. So if you were born in Brooklyn, how did you get to Santa Cruz?
Well, after my service during the Korean War, by the way, I want to be clear on that. I am not a Korean veteran.
Okay.
I was in the Army working for a colonel at Fort Meade, Maryland,
Okay.
designing training aids. So
Okay.
my war effort was non-existent.
Okay.
I was against that war too, by the way. I was actually investigated while I was in the Army as a possible subversive.
Really?
Yeah,
For what reason? Do you know?
because I was talking against the war,
Uh-huh.
which of course, that war should never have happened. It happened because we were supporting a corrupt regime that was destroying South Korea, graft, and the reason so many people were dissatisfied that allowed that war to be supported in the South as well as in the North was because of the regime.
Okay. How did you end up in the military then?
Got drafted.
Yeah. Okay. So then you were saying after the Korean War, you got over here into Santa Cruz?
Well, I left New York because I was sick of the city and wanted some room. So I moved to San Diego and lived there for a number of years. I worked in various industries to support my work. The last of which was a research engineer at Ryan Aeronautics. And this went on until the Vietnam War. Then I was fired for subversive activities.
It seems to be a theme throughout your life.
But I was ready to go anyway. I wanted to return to my work full time.
So is that when you left San Diego, or?
Well, shortly after that. But meanwhile, the collateral damage sculpture was done a long time before this happened. And I finished the piece in 1959. And we used to take it to meetings and unveil it when we were done lecturing about strontium-90 and firestorms and all the things that make atomic war an unholy thing.
What was the name of that group that you were in, that you brought the statue
It
from?
didn't have a name, it was just Ban the Bomb Movement people.
Okay. Let's see. I was interested in how you got into metalworking as an artist. Was that always your approach, or?
Well, my early career in sculpture was in more traditional methods of working in clay, metal casting, and then eventually I drifted over into metal sculpture inspired by some of the people working at that time, like David Smith.
Okay.
And found blacksmithing along the way as a way to expand my palette of working.
So is that what you've stuck with since then, for the most part?
Right.
Okay. The pen's dying again.
I was
So-
recently honored with a international award for my contribution
Uh-huh.
to the art of blacksmithing.
I think I saw that on your website, yeah. So how would you describe your style then, your artistic style?
Well, I do both figurative and abstract pieces, as you see around the house. Some are figurative, representational, and some are completely abstract, often mixing the two. But my basic theme is satire.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm ready to go on to the questions I sent you then. Okay, so who are the figures in the sculpture? And I was interested why you have them straining to look up at the sky.
Well, of course, that was a compositional decision. If you study the construction of the sculpture, it's constructed like a big explosion itself.
Uh-huh.
And the figures looking up, of course, are looking at their own inevitable destruction. The manner of working is what I was doing at the time when I worked figuratively. The sculpture here was done a year before Collateral Damage. So I was into that way of working. My work in this area here has often been compared with Picasso's Guernica, which it is in terms of theme, but of course the figures are not done the same way.
Yeah.
So I felt it was quite a compliment when I was criticized because it reminded them of Guernica.
Uh-huh. Okay. Let's see. Would you say that the figures represent a family?
Yes, it represents a nuclear family, the basic components, man, woman, and child. And I chose that as a way of expressing the humanity is the body positions of the three figures representing their attitudes towards inevitable destruction.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the style of the sculpture looks very distinct and purposeful. When I was looking at it, I was particularly drawn to the hands and how large they are and like how they really look like they're grasping, and then the necks look like they're straining. I was wondering what feelings you were trying to evoke, and I guess now it's, from what I'm hearing you say, it's destruction. Like,
Yeah.
but is there anything else that you were trying to convey with your style?
Well, see, the original title for the piece was Last Event,
Okay.
and it was changed to Collateral Damage by an inspired movement from James Wainscoat, who's one of the people working on the project, who is a Vietnam veteran who saw a lot of collateral damage in Vietnam.